Headhunter kill teams were the final evolution of the Seeker squads developed by the Alpha Legion. They are the most elite assassins employed in squads by the Alpha Legion, and they operate ahead of most forces to take out key individuals. Hello everybody, my name is Spoons Rattling, and welcome to another video where today I'm covering the Headhunter kill team of the Alpha Legion in the Horus Heresy. The Headhunter kill team comes in at 125 points for 5 models. They have the standard Marine stat line of 7 inches of movement, weapon skill 4+, though a boosted ballistic skill 5+, strength and toughness 4 with 1 wound, initiative 4, so average, 1 attack, leadership 8+, and a 3+ save, though the Prime, of course, gains an extra attack and an extra pip of leadership. The unit composition is 4 Headhunters and 1 Prime. They are skirmish, which means they have a unit coherency of 3 inches and +1 to their saves. Or +1 to cover saves, I should say. Their wargear is the standard Bane Strike Combi Bolter, a very rare weapon by loadout, which is an 18-inch range, strength 5, AP 4, rapid fire, twin-linked, and breaching 6+ weapon. This weapon is just okay in my opinion. I think it would have been better off as maybe an assault weapon, but being a bolter I understand why they wanted to keep it rapid fire. The Power Dagger is equipped on all of them, and it is a power weapon that is strength 3, AP 3, with melee, sudden strike, and breaching 5+. Sudden strike 1 gives you an extra initiative, which is very useful. And then the Prime also gets a Venom Sphere, which is a 8-inch range, strength 1, AP dash, assault 6, poison 3 plus 1 shot weapon, really only super useful for clearing out things like militia. They also have frag and crack grenades. Crack grenades give you a strength 6 AP 3 hit at initiative 1, but you can't use anything else in melee. And then frag grenades means you don't take the initiative debuff for charging through terrain. Moving on to their special rules, they of course have the Alpha Legion Legionis Astartes rule, as they're a unique unit. They have Relentless, which allows them to move, shoot, and charge after using heavy weapons, or their rapid-fire weapons for that matter. Precision shots 4+, so on a 4+, the attacker resolves wounds against models of their choice, so long as they're in range and line of sight, which means that you get to pick who dies, effectively. Preferred Enemy Independent Character gives them rerolls 1 to hit and wound when shooting at a unit with an independent character or an independent character themselves. They also have Infiltrate, which is at the end of enemy deployment. You set this unit anywhere up outside 9 inches of enemies, or their deployment zone so long as they are out of line of sight, so hiding in a building basically, or 12 inches outside if in line of sight and they cannot charge turn 1. Scouts is very similar. After everyone has deployed their armies, including infiltrators, but before the first turn, a unit with the Scouts, that is infantry, may redeploy entirely within 6 inches. However, they must stay at least 9 inches from enemy models, and models that make Scout moves cannot charge turn 1. So coming together, we have a unit that has a very close range weapon that is moderately okay at killing Space Marines, some interesting melee that with the sudden strike and breaching 5+ means it usually will at least be AP 2 and you'll be hitting first. But nothing very impressive there. And then the standard suite of rules aside from that, though being ballistic skill 5+ means they hit on 2s, which is very nice, and Relentless is great for some of their weapon options, which they do have some unique ones compared to their generic brothers, the Seeker squad. Precision shots 4+ is also important, but we'll touch on that later, because now we have to get onto the options for this squad. So the Headhunter kill team may take up to 5 extra additional Headhunters for 20 points per model, and any model in the unit may exchange their Bane Strike Combi Bolter for one of the following: a Magni Combi weapon for a very cheap 5 points, which would be a Bolter Primary, which is 24-inch range with strength 4, AP 5, and rapid fire, or a Meltagun Secondary, or rather with a Meltagun or Plasma Gun Secondary. The Meltagun is 12-inch range, strength 8, AP 1, assault 1, armor bane melee, and 1 shot, and the Plasma Gun is 24-inch range with strength 7, AP 4, rapid fire, breaching 4+, 1 shot, and gets hot. They can also take minor combi weapons for free, which would of course come with a bolter, but it can also take a flamer, Volkite charger, or grenade launcher. The flamer is range template, strength 4, AP 5, and assault 1. The Volkite charger is range 15-inch range I should say, strength 5, AP 5, assault 2, and deflagrate. And the grenade launcher is Crack and Frag. The Crack is 24-inch range with strength 5, AP 4, assault 1, and the Frag is strength 3, AP 6, assault 1, blast 3 inches, and pinning. So nothing too crazy, though the Volkite charger does give you some extra firepower, effectively just doubling your bolter's damage output. And then one Headhunter may exchange his Bane Strike Combi Bolter for either a Heavy Bolter or Multi-Melta. The Heavy Bolter is 36-inch range with strength 5, AP 4, and Heavy 4, a fairly mediocre weapon. The Multi-Melta is 24-inch range with strength 8, AP 1, Heavy 1, Armor Bane, Melta, and Twin Linked, which means at half range you get to roll an additional Armor Pen dice, and Twin Linked lets you re-roll your attack rolls. I'd generally say Meltaguns are great at such a cheap points cost from the Magna, and the Multi-Meltas are also great at 20 points. Moving on, we do have the options for the Sergeant. The Prime may exchange his bolt pistol for one of the following, either a plasma pistol or inferno pistol. The plasma pistol is 12-inch range, pistol 1, strength 7, AP 4, breach 4+, and gets hot for 5 points. And the inferno pistol is range 6, strength 8, AP 1, pistol 1, armor bane melta at 15 points. The Headhunter Prime may take one of the following, either a Power Fist for strength times 2, AP 2, melee, unwieldy, and specialist weapon for 10 points, or the Power Weapon for plus 5 points, which would be a sword, axe, maul, or lance. The lance is plus 1 strength, AP 3, and reach 1, which gives you bonus initiative. The power maul is strength plus 2, AP 3 with no special rules. The power axe is strength plus 1, AP 2, and unwieldy. And the power sword is strength user, AP 3, and rending 6. Rending 6, of course, means on a 6 you get D3 extra armor pen and AP 2. Unwieldy means you attack at initiative 1, and breach 1 gives you bonus initiative. The Headhunter Prime can take the following: Artificer Armor for a 2+ save, or Melta Bombs for a Strength 8 AP 1 melee detonation unwieldy instant death weapon, which you use against vehicles. Next up, we have, of course, dedicated transport. A Headhunter kill team can take a Rhino or a Dreadclaw. I would generally say these are slightly pointless, though it doesn't take up a 4-sword slot at the very least, and they do count as a fast attack, as this unit is a fast attack unit. I'd say loadout-wise, they have some great options, mainly the very cheap Magna Combi weapons, so a bunch of really cheap Meltas, and the Multi-Melta is fantastic. Obviously, I do love heavy bolters as a weapon, though I'll say they aren't very exceptional or anything, though at 10 points, I guess it's not the absolute worst. In terms of general loadout, I would just keep it simple. With the Magna Combi weapons being Meltas and a Multi-Melta, you'll have quite a potent unit that can do a lot of damage very, very fast, and Artificer Armor is almost always an auto-include, unfortunately. In terms of buff options, the Legion Vigilator can lead them, and he is one of the fiercest snipers in the game, but I would say this probably isn't where you want him to be, mainly because the Vigilator has a 72-inch range weapon with that big Nemesis bolter, and he can do that from miles away, and Headhunters are far more suited to close attack with Melta weapons and such. While he can lead them, I'd say he's better suited with a Recon Squad or even Seekers, though you could always run these very awesome Headhunters as Seekers or a Recon Squad. Exodus is a unique option for the Alpha Legion. You can't bring multiples, is what I mean. He's very similar to a Vigilator. He probably doesn't want to be with a Suicide Squad because he's very expensive, and he can snipe the entire board so easily. And you could probably just run him solo, sitting in some far-flung ruin, and not have to worry about running him with a unit that's main purpose is to be point blank with the enemy. That is just going to unleash one hellfire volley of damage before being blasted away. Moving on to the Legions, they only can be with Alpha Legion, as no one else can steal them. The Headhunters are often going to be so close to the front line, quite literally in spitting distance, that the minus 2 inches away isn't super big deal, especially if you're using Melta weapons, which means you want to be usually within 6 inches. So they generally are not going to be benefiting from that, and while Smoke and Mirrors could be useful to turn off something like Ultramarines' shooting buff, their combi meltas being one shot means using Smoke and Mirrors on them is very niche, as you would just be saving your multi-melta, which is a fine weapon of course, but you could definitely use that reaction on something better. So they don't get the most from their own Legion, though they do at least offer some things that are very flavorful of the Alpha Legion. And on the note of the Alpha Legion Armory, which would be, of course, Bane Strike Bolters, Power Daggers, and Venom Spheres, there's nothing they can take because they already have the full suite. They come standard with Bane Strike Combi Bolters. These Prime gets a Venom Sphere, and the whole squad gets Power Daggers, so nothing there. Not that I would say any of those would be particularly useful on this unit, as they're all relatively niche options in general. But I just wanted to point that out because it's not the most common to see a unit have the full suite of Legion options in their kit just at base. Moving on to competition, we do of course have Recon Squads, which are a troops choice, though are a support squad, so they have line, which is very useful, and they get Nemesis Bolters. They're very good snipers in general. With that 72-inch range, they can really just pick out characters pretty efficiently. Again, on the surface, they seem very similar, though while their goals are similar, being precision attackers, the execution is what makes them different. Seekers, or Recon Squads can stay far back in your deployment zone and snipe things, and then go off to score things later. The Headhunter kill team is far better at just running into the enemy's face and trying to blow up their selected target instantly. And as I mentioned, the Recons do it at range. The headhunters also have more flexibility, just given their melee, their melt equipment, and seekers are the generic elite recon marines, and they have a lot of similarities between them and the headhunters. The Scorpius rounds and their Kraken bolters are functionally better than Bane Strike ammo. They also have access to Nemesis bolters, which is great for sniping. They have a lot of similar special rules, such as Marked for Death, which lets them reroll wounds against their target instead of Preferred Enemy, which does it for hits and wounds. However, again, if you're wanting an infiltrator unit that can both melt a character or just annihilate a tank on a dime, the headhunters do have them beat there, though of course the seekers are cheaper and do have some other benefits amongst themselves. Moving on, we have to cover the best use for the headhunters, which surprisingly I've kind of already mentioned. You keep the headhunters as a small unit, as they don't get any extra heavy weapons for having a big unit, and if you want to run a big unit of infiltrating units, recons and seekers do that job much better. However, that's not to say that headhunters have no purpose. At 175 points for a squad with 4 Magna Melta or Combi Meltas and a Multi Melta, you'll have a particularly deadly infiltrating unit. Their opening volley, while literally only being for their first round of shooting, is going to leave a unit likely dead or horrifically damaged. Meltas are completely general purpose. They have a great chance of instantly blowing up vehicles, and they instant death most characters. And with the 4 dice just on the Combi Melta alone, getting 1 precision through should be easy, pathetically so. Or, if there's no characters around, or say they have a redeploy of some kind, you can simply have these guys jump out and instantly destroy something like a Legion Spartan, which would be huge because Spartans might be carrying something like Cataphracti, which would be very flat-footed after that, leaving them exposed to your army's shooting. Durability-wise, they will almost certainly die very quick, but if they destroy something, as I previously mentioned, the Spartan, or Praetor, or Legion Consul, or even something like a Searchlight vehicle, they just earned their value completely, and then some. For utility, Recon and Seeker squads definitely beat them just for being cheaper, but for the sheer instantaneous infiltrating firepower to destroy one single target, the headhunters do win out there, in my opinion. So, just as I've already mentioned, load these guys up with your favorite sneaky melta guns and jump at the nearest enemy and turn them into slag. Since they're AP 1, they get +2 to their armor pen rolls, so you explode enemy vehicles on a 7+ 7+, or a 5+, I should say, because they're +2 to the roll, which means that with all this firepower, whatever you're shooting at is likely going to explode, or if it's a super heavy, they're likely going to be so crippled that they will lose almost all their combat effectiveness. I'll take that for 175 points, thank you very much. Anyways, I've been Spoons Rattling. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think down below, and I will see you all next time.